3,
I want the pit. I can't help it.
2, 1. Welcome to PPR podcast number 92. And oh, what a podcast we have for you. My name is Paul. Normally, the star of the podcast is to my right. His name is Bert. But Bert, we have an A-lister in our midst. Could you tell us who's in the hot seat today?
We do, and I'll actually say, for the last 20 years, I always get asked who was my favorite high school defensive player in San Diego that I ever saw, and it's always Tony Jefferson from Eastlake. Got to see him in 2009 and 10 up close, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Tony Jefferson, right. Eastlake, Oklahoma. You're not wearing Eastlake colors today. You're wearing Oklahoma, it looks like. Welcome.
No, this is orange, but I just wore it for the swag. That's all.
All right.
All right. Hey, so Tony, you're back in San Diego. Let's get the big news out of the way. You have a young one on the way?
Yeah, baby number 4, 2 weeks away. Due date is April 12th. So, we're trying to make it till then. Wife is in the nesting stage right now, getting the house ready, and I'm kind of just watching it all unfold. But excited.
Wow, how crazy is it around your house with 4 young ones running around?
Oh man, yeah. God blessed me with twin girls, and they rule the house right now. I can tell you that. So everything's good, man.
I'm gonna go back to the Wayback Machine. We had Chancellor James on last week, and this came up who the best player he ever saw in high school was, and he said you, and I agree with them. But I forgot. I mean, I live in Eastlake. I remember you from Houston on down, but I forgot you'd rushed for like 2,000 yards and 25 TDs that year, and I just still remember you only on defense for some reason. And I don't know, Paul, do you remember back that long?
Yeah, of course I do. He was part of one of the most magic nights in PPR history when Stills and
Brennan
Clay, all those guys committed on the show, and that's why, Tony, I'll forever be in your debt if you ever need a favor, because man, that was a magic night in our show history. But to get to what you're saying is, we overlooked the fact that he was a two-way player.
Yeah, and I think, and you talk about I'm gonna let him talk, but I think the favorite part about you back then was, I remember every week in Eastlake, you'd commit to somebody new. It was like Stanford, then it was USC, then it was UCLA, then finally it was Oklahoma. I'm like, man, I like this guy. It's like every week it was like a new commitment.
Why'd you do that?
Why not? You only get to have this opportunity one time, but really it was. For me it was tough. I started getting offers at an early age. Stanford was my first one, and I think Stanford was a little bit premature decision. It was the first offer really from a D1 school. I was there with Harbaugh at his full contact camps. I really was only interested in going to full contact camps because that's kind of how I view football and being judged, is when you have the pads on. So I went out there and he offered me right away, and I committed right away. So that was kind of that ordeal. And then, I had the struggle with who did I like best out of LA, USC or UCLA? And that was really my toughest decision. I also verbally committed to Florida. I think that one was kind of under the rug, but I did do that where so, I have fun with it, man. I have fun with it. Like I said, just looking back on being at that age and having the opportunities like that, knowing me, it makes sense that I did commit to those different schools.
And I thought it was cool because I did the same thing, and everybody thought I was crazy in high school, but every week I commit somewhere new, but then I get money from somebody else. They come back, cash though, not traceable. But I hadn't seen anybody else do it, and then you started doing it. I'm like, man, I like him.
Yeah, I won't mention the cash part.
Yeah. All right, this is G-rated. But Tony, it brings up a topic because Bert kind of surprised me with this. You have NFL stories to tell. You have major D1 stories to tell, and obviously you are a prep star. And when you think back and you're telling football stories, Bert says it always goes back to high school for him. Are you the same way?
For the most part, yeah. Honestly, a lot of my best, more fun, years of football, they did happen in high school. Just from the fact that we were going on trips together as high schoolers, and football wasn't really a business at that point. We were just really enjoying ourselves, having fun. creating memories, that last a lifetime. Although that did happen in college and NFL, but in high school, for some reason, it was just a little more sentimental.
See, you didn't believe me.
So I don't feel so bad when I can break out my high school stories.
Tell that one when you came around the outside of the end.
No, we had a kid named Bump. His name was Pat Martin. He was a big offensive lineman, and we called him Bump because he had this big bump on his forehead, and every time he tried to use the drinking fountain, he couldn't get his head low enough because the overhang, and he kept bumping his head. He kept bumping his head.
Rough. Tony has better stories than that. Tony, when you were at Phoenix, was Buddy Morris the strength coach there?
Yeah.
How'd you like him?
Love Buddy. Every time I see Buddy, I run into Buddy. I let him know he's one of my favorite strength and conditioning coaches ever. Got my body right. I actually had one of my best years, training with him with Arizona my last year there. So it's always respect between Buddy and I.
That's the only way I could feel young is because he was my strength coach in college. So if he's still doing it, I feel young now. We're contemporaries.
After you brought him up, I went and looked him up and started looking at his videos. Pretty crazy dude, huh?
He's always been crazy.
I think he just won Strength and Conditioning Coach of the Year for the NFL.
He did, but he's an older guy, so how does he stay current?
He's a different guy. You'd have to meet him. He's one of those torture, old school. I don't know if he still is, but he was one of those torturers. Remember we had Dave Wannstedt on here, and remember he was talking about the hill, and he had to tell him to stop and take it off campus because they called the police.
All the kids were passing out running the hill?
Yeah.
Hey, we weren't doing that. Times were changed by then.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Tony, you just mentioned about how football hasn't become a business, and you kind of said it with a sort of a sigh in your voice. Does there come a point when the game you played for fun stops being fun and it just becomes more of a means of supporting your family?
I think that all depends on the player situation. Some guys, they really play football because they love the money and what comes with it. And then there's guys who love the game and they enjoy playing the game. And I've always been the guy where I just enjoyed the game. I played it ever since I was 4 years old. I mean, I remember being in college and I'd come in the off season, I'd still come down to Helix and I'd be playing 7-on-7. Everybody's like, geez, you don't get football break, do you? And that's just kind of how I am. I love the game. I think even when I'm done playing, I'm going to still be around it in some sort. And it's just kind of like the business is going to come with it once you get here because it's a lot of money involved. The owners are looking at it. And to be honest, we're really, for them, we're investments. And they look at us not just what we do on the field, but how are we going to represent them? Because their choices that they make by picking you is a strong reflection on them. So it does turn into a business at that time.
So we had Eric Weddle on, and you've been this seems like last 5 podcasts his name's come up.
Yeah, you're popular, Tony.
Yeah, Eric's in the new, and we asked him this, but because there's been a lot of ex-NFL guys coaching high school football around here now. We asked if you were going to be the next one, and Eric said you were bigger than that. You were going to be a league guy in the NFL, management type guy. Is that what? I mean, what's your? If you could see it right now, do you want to coach high school? You want to coach college? You want to take a little time off? You want to be in the league, the union?
So I've got a couple opportunities that are waiting for me in the NFL as far as being in the front office, scout or something. So those are something I will ponder when that time comes. But as of right now, I'm just focused on playing this year and get my body right. But coaching high school, I mean, I've gone down to Rancho Bernardo. I've helped a little bit with the safeties a little bit, talked to them a little bit, and that kind of thing. Once you feel the impact you can have on these young guys, it kind of makes you want to keep going back and back. So I think I got to go and help Weddle and coach at a very small rate because I know I'll get drug into it and really want to do it. So I think for me right now, I just got to stay focused on the main thing, and that's just getting the body right.
Bert started a firestorm. I don't know. I think you know about it because I saw you respond on Twitter. He has you going to East Lake.
I did not. I just brought it up as a thing.
And
maybe.
Boy, the backlash of
that comes with it.
All right, just for the record, I didn't say that. Clark Moses said that, and I just repeated it. So you want to say anything? Say it to Clark.
What? I don't even.
That you might be going to East Lake as the head coach. That was Clark Moses.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, eventually that would be my end goal. I would love to go back to my old high school and, implement the things into the system there that I've learned throughout my career and help some kids make it to the next level. For sure.
Well, we certainly have no shortage of guys doing that, and it warms my heart to see all you guys that you've made oodles of money and you could be living in the Caribbean somewhere, and instead you come back and give back to your community. I think it's pretty special.
Yeah, for sure. I just know if I do ever become a head coach at East Lake, I need Rancho Bernardo High week 1.
we can make that happen. That'd be we televise that game, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You keep referring to getting your body right, and you're at that stage in the. Let's face it, you start to become obsolete in the NFL once you have a 3 in your age number, and with every year it becomes even. It seems like the game has changed so much that now once you become 30, they almost want to get you out the door. Back in the day, you could play for, it seems a little longer. Talk about what that feels like as an athlete who you still feel like you can play at a very high level, and Lord knows we've seen it. But do you feel like you're getting kind of pushed to the door?
Oh yeah, I definitely feel that. That's I've had that feeling the last couple of years, really, especially since I got injured. It was kind of a tough recovery for me with my knee. It took a little extra time trying to get it right, but I think it's no secret in the NFL once you hit 30, and they call it the wrong side of 30. They kind of just start looking for younger players to come in and step in, and who could be cheaper too. But I will say, being a vet and then being in these locker rooms these past few years, you're definitely going to need some of those 30-year-old guys with these young kids monitoring the locker room, just because you need those vets. And for the young guys coming into the league, it could be tough because not every week is going to go the way you want it to go. Your performance isn't going to be the way you prepared all week. You may feel like you prepared well all week, and then Sunday you don't play as well. You need a vet in the air to let you know that it's okay. So time to move on to the next one, because it can get a little tough and stressful as a player in the NFL. Each week is a new week, and that's how you're judged by. I like I said, I felt like these last couple of years, the league has kind of been like, okay, you've done what you had to do. You're entering this side. We're kind of looking elsewhere. But I've always been the type of guy who's going to fight against the grain, and I feel like it's just a new challenge for me, and I love it. So that's what wakes me up 6 a.m. in the morning, go get this workout in, and then 1 o'clock, go get another one in. So it's some motivation for me, just to prove them wrong, as I have been.
Yeah, and people don't understand, it's a whole different game or set of circumstances from college to NFL. I mean, you were lucky, you had Honey Badger and Patrick Peterson probably to mentor you, and then, that's invaluable. People don't get that. The older players for the younger players, and a lot of teams just don't get that.
Can I ask a question?
Right. Ask him.
All right. Well, okay, I'm sorry. I was going to ask of both of you guys. In the modern day NFL, you go to camp, say the phone's going to ring for you, and you're going to say you're going to pick the spot that gives you the best chance to play. I assume that works to your lifestyle, right? Geographically, the place you want to play, the organization you like. You go there, and you're one of, 6, 7 safeties. You have a name, you have a resume, you have a lot of tape on you. But in the modern day NFL, where you only have now 3 exhibition games or preseason games, whatever you want to call them, you don't hit that much in training camp. How does one earn a job or win a job with fewer reps? I think is, I guess, the question.
I think the best answer, and it may not be the most popular answer, but the best answer is special teams. That's if you want to make the team, because if you're coming in and you're not a starter, and you're considered playing a backup role, the only way you're really going to make the team is if you ball out on special teams. And that was something I had to do last year in New York, which I haven't done frontline kickoff return since I was like a rookie or second year in the league. So I had to go back and reassess myself and let myself know, if you do want to make this team, you're going to have to be able to contribute on special teams. And I did it. It was tough. playing kickoff return on the front line is probably one of the hardest positions on special teams. You have to run back, and guys are running full speed at you, and you have to hold up. So that was a real challenge for me, but I overcame it. I thought I did solid, and at the same time, you really have to value your body in those situations too. And I thought about it. I'm like, do I really want to put myself through it? But my mindset stayed the same the entire time, and it kept me on the team.
So you'd have a unique perspective on this. How does Daniel Jones get more than Lamar Jackson on a contract?
So for me, I got to see Daniel Jones firsthand every day. The guy's in there at 6 a.m. working his tail off, and you know he's had I would say his first few years in the league, not too many people were fans of him, but he really came out this past year and had a great year, great season. Didn't really turn the ball over much, and that helped us as a team. And I think Daniel deserved the contract that he got. For me, Lamar, I believe he deserves a contract just as good or even better. You know, 2019 MVP. I mean, his record as a starter, I believe, is 45-16. That alone, if I'm a general manager or somebody and I'm trying to win, I'm looking at that. If you're 45-16 in the NFL as a starter, there's something about you and your ability that gives the team the best opportunity to win. So there's reports I'm hearing where nobody's interested. It kind of blows my mind that you would come out without even attempting to try and get a deal done, knowing a guy like him is available. Like I said, it kind of blows my mind just because of who he is. I mean, if you look, they do want to bring up injuries. I mean, these aren't like season-ending injuries, really. I mean, he's getting hurt later in the season. He sprained his knee this past year. You know, one of the best pass rushers in the league he beat a tight end, and he came around and tackled Lamar, and he sprained his knee. Then the year before, 21, he sprained his ankle. So these aren't like really like worrisome injuries. So that's kind of my confusion when it comes to that, because I do believe Lamar deserves a contract that he desires. I know it's tough to hand out a fully guaranteed after Deshaun Watson, but
well, I think that you bring up a good point, because I know in a lot of circles it's getting painted as a racial thing, but could it be a financial thing where no one wants to park that much money into one player, and because it affects your ability to build out the roster?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's the sole reason of it. Is because it's a financial thing for sure. But at the same time, I see Lamar's point of view. I see that he believes he's played at a higher level and done more for the franchise, and
undoubtedly,
he believes it could get done. So he wants to be done because he's seen it get done. I know everyone's throwing the word collusion around, and maybe, I don't know, because I don't go to the meetings and I don't know what the owners are speaking with or collabing together with. But at the same time, Lamar should be paid pretty nicely, to say the least.
And another feather in his cap is he's done it without. He's never had that A-list wide receiver. He's carried the team.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt about it.
So that's why I see his point, but I also like the Vikings are being talked about as a team that you have to give up 2 first-rounders, and then that $50 million a year price tag. You have to gut your roster, and you're no better off then.
But I mean, the ones that are giving up to 50 think they're going to find the next, Joe Burrows or Justin Herbert or the rookie contract quarterback.
But at least you get those guys for 5 years on a rookie contract.
Yeah, that's what they think they're getting. But there's not a lot of them out there.
And you don't have to, if you're going to give up 2 first-round picks, you might as well get a guy that's going to only cost you $8 million a year or something like that.
I want to go back to high school real quick.
Oh, of course.
Tony, you're a college coach, right? You got it's 2010. You got two scholarships, all right? It's Ricky Seal, Dylan Baxter, Brennan Clay, and Tony Jefferson at running back. Which two are you taking out of those four in 2010? I know you're one of them.
Dylan Baxter and Tony Jefferson for sure.
All right, I'm just checking.
100%. Dylan Baxter, I believe he was one of the. I think secondly after Reggie Bush, he was one of the best runners I watched. I got to watch Reggie Bush in high school, and then I watched a bunch of other guys too. But I think Dylan Baxter was the second best runner I've seen in San Diego.
Wasn't it like your first NFL tackle was Reggie Bush? Something I read somewhere?
Detroit.
What's that like when you're watching him in high school and like idolize him, and then your first NFL, regular season tackles? I think it was for a loss too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was a tough open field tackle too. He really almost shook me, but luckily, like my arm was strong, and I must have did a good amount of arms that week. But I brought him down with one arm, and it was a tackle for loss. It was first tackle. I was like, wow, against Reggie Bush too.
Yeah, that's that Buddy Morris training.
Hey, going back to Dylan Baxter, why did it not work out for him?
I think it was just other stuff off the field. I mean, on the field, I don't think there was any second guessing his talent. I don't know. I still think I remember he had a trial with the Seahawks. He went and did that, and I just don't know what happened from there as far as him playing and whatnot. But man, I just remember watching him at Mission Bay. And I actually went to I believe the CIF game at Southwest. I forgot who they're playing, and it just seemed like he was scoring every time he got the ball. And I'm like, this dude is insane.
And that goes back even to my day. I mean, there was an old saying: there's better players that I played against that made the NFL than the ones that did, just because they got derailed on. We had a kid at Pitt who was the #1 recruit in the country, averaged 12 yards a carry, best player I've ever seen, just done after 1 year. I mean, just done, and just off the field stuff.
So there's a lesson there, is there not? I mean, because a lot of high school kids are going to watch this, Tony. There's, having a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, pretty important, is it not?
Oh, definitely. It definitely is. But at the same time, you do have to have a plan B and a plan C, but at the same time, everything is about choices. So if you feel you want to do something, you have to make the right choices. One or two bad choices can derail the entire thing. So I just know, throughout this whole process from being in Pop Warner to high school to college, NFL, there were choices I had to make. And some, looking back, those choices, had I not made the right choice and I made the bad choice, I don't believe I would be where I am today. 10 years in the league. So I always look back and I tell people, if you really want to get something done, if you really want to be somewhere, you just have to make the right choices.
10 years in the league. Man, kudos. How many, you're in like the 1% of the 1%. I hope you take time to give yourself a pat on the back, because how many people can say it's a grueling league? And kudos, Tony. And my hat's off to you. You're obviously, you got your head screwed on straight. So how does it work now? Do you just wait for the phone to ring, or are you constantly searching? Or, I mean, we're in that weird period before the draft.
Yeah, no, I honestly think for me, in my situation, I think it's better I wait until after the draft anyways. I think it's better for me to allow teams to go through their process of free agency and the draft. They get the guys that they have on their board, and then some teams will miss out, maybe on a position like safety for me. So they'll need somebody to come in, and whether that's me coming for camp and show what I got. I've always felt like whenever I had the opportunity, I took care of it. So I don't see this year being any different from that. So I'm just waiting on my opportunity. Whatever team decides to take a chance on me, I'm going to make sure to make it a good one for them.
I told him 25 minutes, so I'm not asking any more questions.
All right. My last question. Peak Weddle versus peak Jefferson. Who is the better player?
I'm not the type of guy to give another man too much praise over me, so I'm gonna have to go. I love Weddle. I love every Wednesday we go and we play basketball, and most of the time I guard him when he's in. And you can ask him.
All right, let me rephrase it. Peak Jefferson, peak Weddle in basketball. Who's winning?
Oh, Weddle. Only because I can't go with my left yet. I've been practicing in my backyard, dribbling with my left and going up with my left. So he knows that. So he just cuts off my right. So
Weddle,
I either got to shoot a jump shot or pass it.
Weddle is a good athlete. I mean, deceptively five-tool player, and I mean, I bet he was good at. I bet he swings a golf club cleanly, you know.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that does that.
It's just,
he definitely does. He played offense and defense at Utah, so
I mean, that's nuts, right?
That's crazy.
All right, we promise you this is the last question. Talk to the kids. What's your message? When you have to get out there and talk to young high school players, be it the safety of the game, be it playing the game, what do you say?
First off, just keep the main thing. Like I said, set your goals out. Some people work differently. If you want to write them down, you want to put them on a board, put them on your locker, have goals, and then just try to reach them the best way you can. And like I said, it all comes down to choices. So whether that's schoolwork, do you want to be eligible? Well, you have to do your assignments that's been handed out, do good on tests. All these things matter. Choices matter. And at the end of the day, have fun. You only get one life. You're only in high school one time. I don't know what I do to go back to just have a week of high school again. So while you're in there, just enjoy it, man. Listen to your parents. Yeah, and like I said, just have fun and enjoy life.
Hey, are you watching the Aztecs?
Also, of course, 100%. Also, I wanted to send my condolences out to Rick Willis and his loved ones. I saw the news. I was very sad. He's, to me, a legend in San Diego. I remember him coming out to our pep rallies and getting us all hyped up, you know, and those are memories that I will always cherish and have forever. Just a great spirit, a great guy to be around, great personality. I just want to send my condolences to KUSI, his family, and all his loved ones.
That is very kind of you. Yeah, that news caught a lot of people off guard, and a lot of people are still trying to process it. So I tell everybody, whoever asks, that man played as big a part as anybody in making the PPR what it is today, and his that part of his legacy will never change. So the fact that you acknowledge it, Tony, means a lot. And that he was part of the gala night, man. I remember how excited we were when you guys all, man, we were a national, that show, that episode of the PPR was a national episode because we made it in all the Oklahoma media and everything. And I remember going out and having a cocktail afterwards saying, wow, can you believe it? We're big time now. So.
They were playing that in Oklahoma even when we were there. The fans were just so excited that they had 3 guys from California coming who were great players, and they were showing that clip of us committing. I mean, at least 3 weeks into us being at school. So, for sure, it was legendary.
Well, thank you for those kind thoughts, and we ate up 28 minutes of your time. You got 3 kids and a 4th on the way. You best get to dealing with that stuff. So, Tony, I'm going to start posting this stuff today and tomorrow, and a lot of eyeballs. We put it on the show. We put it on the Sportscast. It'll be seen everywhere.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Tony.
Turn off the machines. Podcast 92 is over.